All right, I pushed record, so go ahead and give us the background.
Yeah, so this is kind of going to be a lesson on climate change, but also prehistoric climate change, kind of focusing on that area. I said it was like a 9th, 10th grade honors biology because that's what I did in my practicum. So that's kind of what I'm familiar with. I'm pretty sure those students could handle this. You could do the activity that I'm doing for 9th through 12th grade, just depending on how in depth you go into it. So, yeah, so there's just going to be a lecture and then a short lecture of like 10 minutes or so, and then we'll go through the lab and walk you through that step by step, if we have time. All right, so today's agenda, we're going to be doing two things today. There's going to be a lecture on climate change, focusing on prehistoric climate change, and then we're going to be doing a lab where you're going to have two large posters that have actual pictures of these fossilized leaves that were found from around 55 million years ago. It was during this warming period that we'll talk about. So you're going to be analyzing these and determining the exact, well, not the exact, the average temperature of the Earth during this time, this warming period. So before we begin, I want you to think about a question. We're studying the past today, so why is that important? Why even bother looking 55 million years ago to climate patterns? So why do you think studying climate change in the past is important? I don't know why there's a comment there. And why it's important for studying it now and in the future. So just in your little mini groups, come up with a couple reasons about why studying in the past is important. Why studying climate in the past would be important. You just have like 30 seconds because you guys are so smart. So what did you guys come up with?
We were thinking that maybe if you study the past, you can look for patterns of events or how things happened and use that to speculate how future events may occur.
Right, so the causes. Same thing, yeah, causes. That's a huge important reason why we're doing this. Also, I was thinking that you can also determine the length of the time too. That if something similar that's happening now happened in the past, how long did it last for? What should we prepare for? So, just a couple of reasons why we should even bother proceeding with this lecture, why we should even bother looking at the past. So, the time period that we're going to be looking at today, don't worry about anything from here over. These are unnecessary reviews. But the two time periods that we're looking at is the Paleocene and the Eocene. These are two time periods when this warming occurred. Well, so the Paleocene lasted from about 65 million years ago to about 55. You know, I mean, this isn't exact. We don't know exactly how long these time periods lasted, but this one was 65 to 55, and the Eocene was about 55 to 35 million years ago. So these are the two that we use now. Yeah. So during the Paleocene, which was this 65 to 55 million years ago, the average temperature of the Earth was about 9 degrees Fahrenheit warmer. Does anybody know what the average temperature of the Earth is? Like right now?
Lower 60s, like 55 to 65 or something?
I'm asking because I'm not sure. It occurred to me. I never thought, oh, what is the
I think it's like in the 60s.
Is it?
Like it's 50s or 60s. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
That window.
All right. So, well, 9 degrees warmer. That was during this time period. It's about 9 degrees warmer. So, during the Eocene, so this time period in the red, during the first 10,000 years, the climate increased by another 9 degrees Fahrenheit, which was really quick because we're talking about millions of years. And something that takes 1,000 or 10,000 years is really quick. You know, like, I'm 26 years old. That feels like a really long time to me, but in relation to the age of the planet, my life, oh, there went, yeah, it's gone. It's a blink of an eye. There went my insignificant life compared to the planet, you know? It's just nothing. It's a very short amount of time. Okay. So this is a nice little representation of what it could have looked like back during the Paleocene, Eocene era. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know what these animals are. Sounds like a little raccoon dog thing. I don't know. And this is kind of what this current, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but the fossils that you're going to be looking at, we found in this area in Wyoming, and they're trying to compare what these places look like now.
Earth's average temperatures between 40 to 50.
40 to 50, so Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So that would mean that during this warming period, you know, it's about almost 70 degrees, and the average of it was 50. It's about 18 to 20 degrees warmer during this period. So it was 9 degrees, and then it increased another 9 degrees. So in 2003, this guy right here, this scientist, Scott Wing, discovered thousands of these leaves. He spent about 20 years looking for these, for evidence of this warming period. And yeah, so I think that, yeah, next slide. So, okay, yeah, he found thousands of these leaves. And during this period of warming that happened, when this increased by that additional 9 degrees Fahrenheit, is known as the Paleocene Eocene thermal maximum. That is that period. It's Paleocene Eocene because it is kind of like it happened in between. It was so close to each other that they just lumped those two epochs together. So why are these important? You know, why are fossilized leaves important for determining this? Well, mammals, we have the ability to regulate our own temperature, which, you know, so if you find fossilized remains of mammals, or they won't change they don't have any skeletal changes or anything to cope with the environment. So mammals aren't really as helpful, but leaves, on the other hand, they have to change their actual shape in response to the dramatic environmental changes. So, yeah. So in a warmer climate, this is actually a picture of one of the fossils that you guys will be looking at, and that guy before discovered. So in warmer climate, the leaves tend to have smoother edges. That's just one of the main characteristics. In cooler climates, they have jagged edges. So why do you think that is? Why would a cooler climate favor leaves with jagged edges and a warmer climate favor leaves with smooth edges? It's kind of weird. Let's go. Actually, that's it's not the greatest question. So the jagged edges allow the leaves to begin photosynthesis earlier in the spring. So this would be good for climates with short growing seasons, so a cooler climate. But the jagged edges also release more water vapor.